DCS SITREP, the news show on all things DCS World, which is the premier combat flight simulator for the home PC. It's brought to us by Eagle Dynamics, and once again, I'm your host, Prickly Hedgehog, digging into this week's newsletter and other information pertaining to DCS World. Well, it's Afghanistan no more, as ED released the next region of DCS Afghanistan, and it's now available. It's known as East Afghanistan. This new area leverages our latest map technology, the team advice, and lessons learned from previous terrains, including the southwest region. The eastern region is characterized by its rugged mountainous terrain, interspersed with agricultural areas around Bagram and along waterways. Kabul, the capital and largest city in Afghanistan, includes several points of interest such as hospitals, historical sites, monuments, and unique neighborhoods. The eastern region also includes the urban areas of Bagram, Gardez, Jalalabad, and Khost, and 10 highly detailed airfields as follows: Bagram, Kabul, Jalalabad, Gardez, Khost, Sharana, Bamyan, Urgun heliport, Ghazni heliport, and Khost heliport. Along with the release of the eastern region, the entire map offers improved surface textures, ground clutter, noise, and normal maps. We also have upgraded the transition, they say, between ground texture type and increased the visual quality of surfaces throughout. In the months ahead, they will continue to enhance the map's performance and visual fidelity, as well as improving AI pathfinding, something that's going to be important for our dynamic campaign, remember. Now, this wasn't planned apparently, or at least it wasn't announced in the original version of the map when it was first touted for release, and that is carrier ops. So the current update now expands to include the Arabian Gulf, albeit at a lower resolution, they remind us, and in parallel to continued improvement on the southwest and eastern regions, they are now moving their focus to North Afghanistan. New missions for DCS Black Shark 3 and DCS Flaming Cliffs 2024 have also been added for this new Afghanistan map. Now remember, there are some flexible options for purchase for customers looking to purchase one or more of 3 regions of Afghanistan: Southwest, East, and North. You can purchase the Southwest and the East for $29.99 each. Alternatively, you can purchase the entire DCS Afghanistan map for the early access discounted price of $55.99. This will include all current and future regions and updates. Now, the map looks amazing, and as you can see, even while flying the Apache in VR here, the performance is more than adequate, which is testament to the work going on in optimization, which is mentioned coming up in the core updates reference as well. Personally, and if you have the budget that supports it, I'd just buy the whole damn map. It is really looking good, and this last portion hints at what is going to be seen in the northern portion as well. So it bodes well for the Iraq map, which is also going to receive similar treatment here soon, and of course any future maps from ED coming to the game. Remember, we also have a map coming up, which is the Cold War map, which featured in the 2025 video and also showcased a lot of work for Berlin. So really looking forward to that one as well. Lots of interesting areas to fly in, but this Afghanistan map looks really, really good. And again, I recommend it if you haven't already picked it up. All right, moving on. And in addition to the sweet update for the map, ED also highlighted some DCS core updates worth noticing as well. They say that numerous changes and improvements, including AI being unable to react to radar-launched missiles outside of visual range if not equipped with an onboard radar warning receiver, the initial implementation of tactical turns when flying in a 2-ship with an AI wingman has also been added, and AI aircraft now use enhanced lead pursuit for more timely rejoins, which is really cool. Various additional improvements have been made to the S3B. I believe some AI aircraft weren't refueling properly, so there's been some updates there, as well as the Mi-28, which can now land on small helipads, and the MiG-31 damage model has also been upgraded. Apparently, if you shot it directly from behind, it was indestructible, so that wasn't ideal. That's been fixed. Ground and naval AI also saw improvements with Chinese assets-packed ships. The HQ-7B short-range SAM has received accuracy refinements, and artillery now fire at secondary targets again. As well as that, there were also some graphical and performance improvements to the DCS core engine, including the addition of both high and low SSAO effect options and a number of shader compilation errors that have been fixed as well, which is going to lead to performance improvements and mainly visual improvements here as well. So this update also saw important bug resolutions to the mission editor, The dedicated server saw certain options improved. In addition to bug fixes, numerous weapon improvements for both SAMs and Tomahawk were implemented, and Magnetic North has been updated to better reflect current real-world deviation, which is a nice little touch. Now, aside from those core engine things, we also saw, naturally, plenty of updates for a lot of modules as well, including the ED ones, and they highlighted here updates to the F-16C, which saw the addition of a mouse click function on the throttle to move between off and idle. The ground moving target game crash is now fixed. Dogfight mode stuck with no rad indication is fixed. New parking brake and anti-skid control bindings have been added, and they've also improved the pilot survivability. The DCS FA-18C similarly sees enhancements and adjustments to the AIM-9X tracking near gimbal limits. Similar pilot damage model has been improved to match the Viper, and several fixes include a PDLT crash in EXP mode. Interface between the data link pod and the AGM-84 has been fixed, and auto bombing mode based on an OAP has now been fixed. Both of these aircraft and also the FIV also include air-to-air infrared guided missile seekers being actively distracted by flares prior to missile launch. So a nice little mention there too that they are affected, which is something I didn't realize that they were actually affected prior to the launch of the missiles. This makes, therefore, preemptive flares effective when flying against these aircraft. So AI aircraft saw a large number of behavior and functional improvements. That's a really interesting one too, so a nice little addition there to, again, increase our immersion and obviously the degree of realism. The FIV remastered improvements include more correct radar display when powered off and refined gun dispersion. The L-39 Albatross saw fixes for certain clickable cockpit elements, while the Yak-52 control binding animation and auto start issues were also fixed. World War II warbirds such as the Thunderbolt and also the Mustang benefit from corrections to their engine performance and lighting systems respectively. So some cool stuff there. Now, as is expected, third-party modules also got several updates. Magnitude 3 developers of the MiG-21 BIS have fixed SPO-10 lights, while the India Foxed Echo aircraft MB339 PAN has seen upgraded collision models, cockpit functionality, and gun sight operations. Decker Ironworks, who brought us the JF-17F Thunder, have done some work solving mission editor freezes and refining data link overlay. There is a more detailed list in the changelog. Don't forget too, the Phantom 2 by Heapler saw numerous bug fixes, and similarly the F1 by Argus also saw a large number of improvements and input bindings as well. So do check out that changelog, which I'll refer you to for more specific improvements that you're eager to find out or want to know more about regarding. One of the things I did note was just a lot of emphasis on performance improvements, but also those AI adjustments that we mentioned before as well, which are, again, well worth taking note of. It's an area that requires a lot of tuning, I still think, yet, without doubt. But any kind of improvements to things like the formation flying, landing around the boat, landing on airfields, and just general operation, which sometimes looks a little jinky, depending on the parameters with which the AI is flying on, is got to be good for the game. And of course, it's critical too for what I suspect could be the release of the dynamic campaign this year. If you haven't noticed in the new GUI interface when you load up the game, the features that we saw in the 2025 and beyond video are now also being played in the rolling screenshots, if you like, or the rolling footage played in the GUI is now featuring the dynamic campaign imagery, which I thought was a cool little touch. So again, a nice little hint from ED that they're moving ahead with some pretty interesting things, and one of those obviously is going to be that dynamic campaign, which has been asked for a while. Well, I think this wraps up I guess a shorter SITREP this week, even though it was a bigger newsletter with a little bit more detail. I think I'll just let the map and some of the features do the talking this week. This has been Prickly Hedgehog. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. Keeps the channel chugging along, and we'll see you next time on the DCS SITREP.